This is ABC15 Mornings.
Arizona getting a warning this holiday weekend from health officials. The main concern, of course, the spread of coronavirus if strict measures are not put in place.
And the Navajo Nation has been hit hard by the virus. Now a member of their Department of Health will be helping the future president make some important decisions.
Also, a mobile grocery store is back in the valley, and it's giving those who don't have any kind of transportation fresh and healthy food choices. Really important in the areas of the valley that are considered to be food deserts, where they don't have access to good healthy food. So we'll show you where you can catch it 6 o'clock on this Sunday. So glad to see you bright and early. I'm Nohelani Graff.
And I'm Mark Thompson, social distancing from home. No, hey, I waited till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday to get out and do my walk, but it was beautiful. I mean, it was right in between that, do I need the jacket or should I peel it off type of weather, but still gorgeous out.
Oh, yeah, you hit that sweet spot for sure. I did the same thing when I stepped out yesterday. I went, am I going to need a long sleeve? And then once you're in the sun, you really don't. It's just so comfortable and nice out there. And so this morning, as we get into that most accurate forecast, if you want to get out early, go for a bike ride this morning, you're definitely going to need that long sleeve. Let me just answer that question for you, because we are in the 40s. So you will want a light layer at the very least. By 10, we're in the upper 50s. By 2 o'clock, we're in the low 70s. Clear sunny skies all day long. Our forecast high today is 74 degrees. So whether you want to go out for a bike ride, maybe you want to get in a hike today, it's going to be gorgeous all day long to do it. Just cooler to start the day and still very dry. So make sure that you are hydrating. Whatever you choose to do, your body really still needs that extra moisture. Now, I will talk about that forecast hour by hour, show you how we get to that 74 degrees later in the day. That's coming up in just a few moments.
All right, Nohe, thank you. And developing this morning, one person is dead and another in serious condition after a shooting in Glendale last night. Officials found that pair in a car near 59th Avenue in Glendale. A shooter was located in that same area and arrested. And 5 people were displaced after an overnight fire near 65th Avenue and Happy Valley Road. Crews telling us that that fire started in the home's attic, but then quickly moved, causing part of the structure to collapse. You can see the flames. Luckily, no one was injured. The cause of that fire is under investigation.
Now we want to get to the latest on the coronavirus in our state. We are reaching the end of a holiday weekend, and experts are concerned about the continued spike in cases. Right now, Arizona seeing more than 322,000 cases overall, 4,100 new cases reported just in the past 24 hours. The percentage of tests that are coming back positive sitting right at 10% this morning. And we do, of course, expect to get updated numbers in just a few hours, and we'll be sending those out on a push alert if you have our ABC15 mobile app. Now, some major decisions could be made in this coming week as a hospital crisis is looming. Arizona's top medical minds describing the horrors of what's to come if nothing is done. Adam Waltz has more.
If no immediate action is taken, we could be facing a catastrophe on a scale of Arizona's worst natural disaster. Those words written by one of Arizona's top COVID-19 teams, comparing the current virus situation to a wildfire burning its way to Arizona's front door.
The wind speed, the temperatures, and how close those communities are, and how fast is that fire traveling.
It would be akin to facing a major forest fire without evacuation orders. Just one of the eye-catching warnings in a letter sent from Arizona's COVID-19 modeling team to the Department of Health Services. And like fighting a fire, experts will
pinpoint trigger points where an action has to occur. So when the fire reaches that point, they take an action.
Arizona's COVID-19 trigger point is now, says former Arizona Emergency Management Director Wendy Smith-Reeve. At the current rate, it's predicted ICU and general wards will be at capacity in early December, a month that begins on Tuesday. And no hospital beds will be available across the state right around Christmas.
Everyone is here to celebrate the holiday, right? You want to celebrate with your family, even if it's from afar. but you want to make sure that you're going to be able to be with them in the future years.
The state's COVID-19 modeling team recommending the following actions by Governor Doug Ducey: a statewide mask mandate with enforcement, a 3-week shelter in place starting December 1st, COVID-19 relief measures for small businesses and families affected by the closures, and if no statewide shelter in place, allowing individual cities and county leaders to enact their own closures.
The numbers tell the story. COVID-19 remains active in our communities.
Friday, in her latest YouTube update, Health Director Dr. Kara Christ urging Arizonans to stay diligent with following health guidelines.
To put it simply, people are letting down their guard. That just can't happen if our goal is flattening the curve.
In response to the letter, the Department of Health citing measures in place, such as 90% of the state covered by some sort of mask mandate, capacity limitations at businesses and bar closures, and the prohibition of large gatherings, adding that the state is in regular contact with hospitals and has worked to secure beds for recovering COVID-19 patients and PPE frontliners. Smith-Reeves says even with those restrictions, more needs to be done.
This is what the science is saying, and if the governor is following the science, then an action actually needs to occur in order to ensure that we do not lose more people and so that we don't collapse the healthcare system.
The projections in this letter are taking into account current case and hospitalization rates, as well as forecasting for holiday travel, and says Arizona's hospitals could be at total capacity on Christmas Day. In Phoenix, Adam Waltz, ABC 15 Arizona.
And as the threat of a holiday COVID spike continues, the Navajo Nation remains on lockdown, and the Department of Health reporting over 250 new cases Saturday, bringing the total number of positive results to over 16,200 people. Some good news in all of this, though: no recent deaths to report in the Navajo Nation. Also, over 8,500 individuals have recovered from the virus. The Biden-Harris transition team making a major announcement. The executive director of the Navajo Department of Health has been selected to serve on the team's COVID-19 advisory board. Dr. Jim now joining the group, which will advise the president and vice president-elect on the pandemic.
December 14th. That's now the earliest expected date for vaccinations to get underway in Arizona for priority groups. Right now, signs point to Pfizer being the first vaccine to get FDA approval. And once that happens, the vaccine will be rolled out to some of our state's most at-risk populations. But a lot of people are still wondering, what if you're not in one of those groups?
Your average healthy person who doesn't work in one of these unique situations is probably going to be more late spring, early summer.
Also, by December 14th, the goal is to have 3 mass vaccination sites set up and staffed, and those who are vaccinated will require 2 shots 28 days apart. In the meantime, rent and mortgage payments are due in just a few days. And if you're struggling financially due to the pandemic, the city of Tempe wants to offer you some help. They have set aside nearly $2 million for people impacted in that city. If approved, you could receive up to $10,000 or 6 months of assistance. You do have to live or work in the city limits of Tempe to be eligible. And for more information, you can go to tempe.gov and click on their housing tab.
Nearly 500,000 Arizonans do not own a car. That's according to the census. And with limited transportation available, it makes getting to the grocery store very difficult. ABC 15's Jamie Warren shows us a service that's bringing fresh food, fruits and vegetables to some of these underserved communities.
I sit up on my balcony and wait for him to come.
Mike Coots says he's a regular customer of the Farm Express, a fresh produce market on wheels.
Broccoli, cauliflower, onion.
That drives to neighborhoods, helping serve residents like him who rely on public transportation to get to the grocery store.
And it costs money to get there to buy them through Lyft or Uber or even a city bus.
The service stopped in March because of COVID-19.
But we recently got back on the road with safety protocols in place to make sure that we don't have any more service interruptions when it comes to people having access to healthy food.
Elise Gaitis is executive director of Activate Food Arizona, the nonprofit that brings this mobile supermarket to life. To be safe, she says residents no longer get on the bus to pick their fruits and vegetables. Instead, they choose from a menu what they want, and a staff member bags it for them. She says a lot of their produce is grown locally.
We accept cash, credit, debit. We accept SNAP benefits as well.
The Farm Express has been making pit stops in food deserts for the past 6 years. Those are areas of the valley with high poverty and where residents live at least a mile from the closest grocery store.
In general, we serve over 10,000 people a year.
Outside the senior living community and Salvation Army Senior Center.
The grocery stores are still on the other side of the freeway, or they're a little bit downtown, which if you have mobility challenges might be hard to access.
To fix that problem, she says the possibilities are endless.
Mobile markets are one of those solutions, and we're by no means the only solution, but we envision environments and communities where people have multiple choices at any given time to get healthy, affordable food.
But for now, residents like Coots will keep buying as long as they keep driving.
It's handy for so many of us seniors that don't drive.
And that was Jamie Warren reporting. She says that the Farm Express, they have had to alter the sites that they go to due to COVID-19, but they do have plans to expand that service in the future. For more information about their schedule, you can find that at ABC15.com.
Now let's get another check on that most accurate forecast for you. Here's how we're shaping up hour by hour. So we're starting off very cold this morning in the 40s and even the 30s across the valley. We'll be in the 50s by 8 o'clock and we're going to linger there until 11 before we even cross over into the 60s. At lunchtime, it'll be just 68 degrees, clear, sunny skies. But we will get a little warmer today than we were yesterday. Looking ahead to the start of your work week, I've got a brand new wind advisory for tomorrow that could affect travel in some areas east of the valley. Also, our temperatures are trending down over the next 7 days. We'll talk about just how low they're going to go coming up in that 7-day forecast in just minutes.
6:11 now on your Sunday morning. Coming up, an update on the latest election-related lawsuit to be thrown out. Also, President Trump's legal team is now making their way here to Phoenix. More on the upcoming meeting and what that means for our election results.
Thanks for watching ABC15 Arizona, streaming 24/7 on Roku and these streaming devices.
Welcome back, everybody. Happening tomorrow, Arizona Republicans, they're going to be meeting to discuss the election results, and they're going to be talking about some key things here. The event will feature members of Trump's legal team and Arizona legislators, but it's important to note that this is not an official legislative event. Republican State Representative Mark Fincham says that the gathering is intended to hear testimony and view evidence related to allegations that the election was compromised. So far, we have seen no evidence of widespread fraud or hacking in the November election. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court, they're throwing out another election-related lawsuit. Congressman Mike Kelly and other Republicans, they wanted to block certification of the vote and invalidate that is absentee ballots. The justices said that if the plaintiffs objected to such votes, they should have done so when officials established absentee protocols a year ago. President-elect Joe Biden is the winner of Pennsylvania by about 80,000 votes.
Well, the holiday weekend is coming to a close. We've still got plenty of time today, but yesterday's beautifully clear skies turned into the perfect night to see an almost full moon here in the valley. One of our great viewers sending us this photo, just absolutely gorgeous shot. Boy, you could see every crater up on the moon. Absolutely stunning, and we're going to see more of the same tonight as those clouds have cleared out, giving way to clear conditions for your Sunday. Also, with those clear skies statewide, temperatures have plummeted once again up in the high country, starting the morning off in the single digits at the Grand Canyon, just 8 degrees, and we're barely above 10 degrees in places like Flagstaff, Window Rock, Winslow and Heber. Show low starting the morning off in the 20s, sitting right at the freezing mark in Kingman this morning. Also, National Weather Service warning that there is freezing fog along the I-40 between Winslow and Window Rock. And so we are seeing some foggy conditions. Be very careful if you're traveling early this morning. To our south, we've got temperatures largely in the 30s across southern Arizona. Safford has even dipped down into the 20s this morning. Now, we're actually not quite as cold as we were this time yesterday. We're actually a few degrees above where we were at this hour 24 hours ago now by about 10 degrees in Payson. Prescott is colder by 2 degrees and Show low is 5 degrees below where we were yesterday. But we're right on par here in the valley with where we were. Temperatures in the 40s across most of the valley. We're in the mid 40s in Phoenix, upper 40s in Mesa. 40 degrees even in Glendale and just a degree above that in Goodyear. And we're going to stay cool for several hours this morning. Going to take us until 8 o'clock to even make it into the 50s. We'll linger there and then we'll cross over into that 60-degree mark by 11 o'clock this morning. It will take us until 1 this afternoon to even make it into the 70s. And we will warm into the mid 70s, but our time there will be short-lived. So right around 3 o'clock is when we reach our peak heat of the day, which looks like 74 degrees for most of the valley, especially the western portion of the valley from Surprise to Goodyear, even Ahwatukee and Scottsdale. East Valley warming to 75 in places like Fountain Hills, Apache Junction, Gilbert and Chandler. Maricopa staying down in the low 70s today. Anthem topping out at 72 degrees. Up to our north, northern Arizona in the 50s today, a few spots in the 40s like Heber and Show low. Just south of there in the Verde Valley area, we're looking at highs in the low 60s today. Payson not even likely to crack the 60-degree mark. And then off to our west, we'll largely see temperatures in the low to mid 70s, 70 degrees in Bullhead City, 75 in Yuma, 74 in Gila Bend. Globe and Safford, though, staying in the 60s for today. Up in the high country, the next several days are going to stay very crisp and cold in the Flagstaff area. 50 today, but 40s to start the work week. Also breezy today, around 5 to 10 mile an hour winds with gusts up to 15 miles an hour. And then that same wind pattern picks up again on Tuesday as another disturbance passes to our north. The winds will be calm here in the valley today, but tomorrow, Monday, we have a wind advisory in effect just east of Phoenix from 2 in the morning until noon. We're talking about gusts up to 45 miles an hour. So you want to secure any loose objects that you have around your household. And also traveling might be difficult, particularly along the US 60 and State Route 87 east of the valley. So heading into the Tonto Basin area, be very mindful tomorrow early morning through the afternoon. Otherwise, our temperatures are starting to trend down in the valley after today. 74 today, 73 tomorrow, and then so on until we get to Thursday and we drop down to a high of just 67 degrees. Our morning lows are going to stay pretty consistent to what we felt all weekend long, though, in the low 40s with some valley cities dipping down into the 30s, very likely. And our dry streak continues, but after this long hot summer, I know for a lot of folks the cool down is certainly welcome.
Man, high winds tomorrow. I was looking forward to trying to fly some remote control airplanes. I guess that's off the board for now. All right, no, hey, thank you. Well, money is tight for so many Americans right now, so how can you stretch your dollar this holiday season? We're getting advice from a financial planner. That's coming up after the break.
The holiday shopping season officially kicking off this weekend, but between the pandemic, the recession, record job loss, it's really hard for people to think about buying gifts this year. So our certified financial planner, Graham Williams from Optimus Retirement, is joining us this morning to talk a little bit more about how you can at least spend smartly. Hey, Graham, good to see you.
Good morning, Nohe.
So I'm definitely hearing from a lot of people that, you know, they feel like Scrooge because money's going to be tight. They've already started to warn their families, hey, don't expect a lot. But at the same time, this is our one chance to bring some joy to our families in an otherwise tough year.
Well, the survey shows people expect on average people are going to spend about $50 less than they did last year. So this is not the same as last year, obviously, in the economy. I think it's important for people to think long term, though, as always, and plan. and not get too far along with the spending this year because it is a tough economy.
And so you do have 4 ways that people can at least spend smartly. And your first tip up is set a spending plan.
Really be very precise this year in what you're doing. There's a lot of great deals out there because retailers are very interested in doing more business before the end of the year. But we recommend having a holiday budget. And you can look at our website at optimusretirement.com. We have various budgeting and planning tools there if you're planning to spend for Christmas. And don't forget as well that there are the other things like the decorations and the wrapping and so on that you have to pay for.
Right. There's always those little things too. And if you're cooking it all, even for a smaller family. This one's interesting too. You're saying choose cash over cards. What are we talking about?
Psychologists have looked at this, and when people use a credit card, they spend more. And online, we also do this because we log into a website, we start buying, we see that thing, and it's all on a credit card online. One way to manage your Christmas and holiday spending more effectively is to use cash. So if you went out to a retailer with a set budget and only that much cash, you can't overspend.
Your third point, consider some alternative gifts. This is certainly the year to try something different, that's for sure.
A lot of our retired clients can't see their grandkids this year, and it's very disappointing. And typically, if you're going to go see your grandkids, you're going to get on a plane, you're going to spend hundreds of dollars and so on. So aside from any gift you might give, consider making a contribution to their college fund, their 529 college savings plan. This is money that you put away for college where if it's used for books, tuition, room and board, it's not taxed, it grows tax-free. But if you set one up for a child, the owner still owns the account, so they can assign it to another child if a child gets a scholarship and so on. So it's a very common tool in retirement and estate planning, and that's a great place to do an alternative gift this year.
Yeah, one that will make a difference long term. So that's great. And then the last one that I love, don't forget about yourself.
Right. So this year, when maybe we're not meeting with family, we may not be spending as much. Take that little extra if you can. Shore up your retirement savings, get rid of debt, put a bigger cash reserve position in place. I don't know what 2021 holds, and we're optimists, as we always say, but let's prepare for it. Let's not let it happen to us like this year was unlike any other. Let's see if we can have a better year next year.
Absolutely. Let's turn the tough stuff into some life lessons here.
Exactly.
Graham Williams, always with the excellent tips and helping keep the joy in the holiday season. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.